Attention! Batterie! Feu!
Welcome back everyone, it's me Matt, thanks for joining me today on one of my favourite topics of discussion, artillery, and in today's video we're exploring the AMX-30 AuF1, a French 155mm self-propelled howitzer that became a cornerstone really of France's artillery forces from the late 1970s onwards. But before we do, let me know in the comment section what your favourite self-propelled artillery gun is. Mine is the Panzerbitz 2000. And I would say probably in the exact same position, because I can't really pick which one my favourite is, the K9 Thunder. They are just both incredible bits of artillery, but this one is also quite a formidable piece of hardware, for the French anyway. So the AuF1, also known as the GCT 155mm gun, is a large, tracked armoured vehicle that mounts a high rate of fire gun inside a fully enclosed turret. Now, it offered complete protection for its crew, including a full NBC shielding system, which was a major leap over earlier open-top designs, particularly for the French. From the Cold War deterrence to 21st century peacekeeping missions, this howitzer has really left a bit of a strong mark on modern artillery history. By the late 1960s, the French army realized its old AMX-30 Mark F3 howitzers were completely outdated. These open-top guns offered very little crew protection and required extra vehicles for ammunition. With the threat of nuclear and chemical warfare growing at the time, France began to work on a more modern, self-propelled, protected system which could integrate a very powerful gun, the 155mm. Drawing inspiration from the enclosed American systems like the very successful M109, engineers turned to the proven AMX-30 main battle tank chassis as the foundation for the new 155mm weapon. Development prototypes appeared in the early 1970s, with testing running through 1976. The result was a turreted design featuring full armor, NBC protection, and automatic loading. Now, during the time, automatic loading systems weren't exactly refined, and this was a fairly bold move for the French, something that I highly respect, particularly that they pushed later on to the Leclerc tank. In 1977, production was approved under the name of the GCT 155mm Grande Cadence de Tir, or high rate of fire. The AuF1 would soon replace the older guns and become France's first truly modern self-propelled artillery piece. Of course, as many of us know, today's self-propelled artillery of France that's more prominently known is the Caesar 155mm in a wheeled configuration, which we've also done a video on this channel before. Now, because it is built on the rugged AMX-30 chassis, it weighs around 42 tons and is powered by a very powerful 680 horsepower HS110 diesel engine. That gives it an impressive top speed of nearly 60 km an hour, which, considering it's a fairly large artillery platform for its era, I'm pretty impressed with that. Its torsion bar suspension allows excellent off-road handling and has a fuel range of around 450 km. The crew of 4, commander, gunner, loader and driver, is fully enclosed within the armoured hull and turret. Protection ranges from 20 to 80mm of steel, enough to stop small arms fire and shrapnel. The vehicle is also sealed and overpressured to guard against nuclear, biological and chemical contamination, something that this vehicle was very heavily set upon in its design. Internally, space is efficiently arranged for ammunition stowage and the semi-automatic loading system. An auxiliary power unit also keeps the fire control electronics active without running the main engine, reducing noise and of course heat signature. Overall, it combined a more tank-like mobility with genuine battlefield survivability of its time, allowing it to keep up with armoured and mechanized units directly into combat zones and pull out again if it needed to. This was a huge upgrade over the earlier French artillery designs. At the core of this platform is the 155mm L39 howitzer, specifically developed for rapid and sustained fire. Its bustle-mounted autoloader gives it a rate of 8 rounds per minute, or up to 3 rounds in 15 seconds for burst fire. This made it one of the fastest firing NATO howitzers of its time. The AuF1 can engage targets up to 24 km away with standard high explosive shells and nearly 30 km away using rocket-assisted projectiles. It carries an impressive 42 rounds inside the turret, because that's why it's so beefy and wide. That automatic loader, plus the amount of ammunition inside of there, makes it fairly tall. And each is automatically handled by the loading mechanism, reducing that crew fatigue and exposure, but can also be loaded manually if required. For defending itself, it does have a 12.7mm M2 Browning machine gun on the turret and serves as local defense as well as complemented by its smoke grenade launchers. Thanks to the autoloader and the advanced hydraulic gun laying system, it can deliver quick salvos and relocate before the enemy counters with battery fire, embodying the shoot and scoot concept of the time, which still up to this day is being focused on very much. Following its 1977 introduction to the French armed forces, it became the backbone of France's armoured artillery regiments, each regiment fielding about 18 guns organised into batteries of 6. Exports soon followed with its success. Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait all acquired the systems, which really recognized its more modern capabilities for a fairly good price at the time. Of course, other nations like America aren't going to be selling those nations these weapon systems, and it kind of blew my mind that Iraq first saw action during the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, where the long-range barrages provided a decisive edge in open desert warfare utilizing these systems. During the 1991 Gulf War, some Iraqi units employed them again, though many were destroyed or captured by coalition forces. Meanwhile, French and Saudi batteries stood ready in the region, while Kuwait later added its own fleet post-conflict. Perhaps the most famous deployment of these artillery pieces came in the Balkans. In 1995, French vehicles of both AuF1 and 2 variants operated from Mount Igman overlooking Sarajevo during the Operation Deliberate Force. They provided precision counter-battery fire and close support for UN and NATO forces, earning praise for their responsiveness and reliability. In all of these theatres, the vehicles proved themselves both durable and deadly. It could fire intense barrages, relocate quickly, and maintain accuracy in demanding conditions. These operations really validated France's emphasis on combining mobility, protection, and high firepower into a single self-contained artillery system. There was the proof in the pudding, and they'd won. They'd hit a winner with this platform. Throughout its service life, the vehicle underwent several upgrades, and some of them were very important. Early production models were later labelled the AuF1H, followed by the AuF1T, which introduced an inertial navigation fire control system and improved electronics for faster target acquisition. This was a huge leap forward in modern artillery, because if you can't identify and engage targets quickly enough, then it completely negates the fact of having the shoot and scoot principle. The AuF1 TM variant tested digital fire control integration under the emerging Atlas system, marking the French Army's move towards networked artillery. The most advanced version, the AuF2, appeared in the 1990s. It featured 52 caliber barrel, boosting a maximum range of 40 kilometers this time. An upgraded AMX-30 B2 chassis with now a 750 horsepower engine gave it even more power. Its refined autoloader system increased the rate of fire up to 10 rounds per minute. The autoloader was given a lot of mechanical changes and upgrades from lessons learned, and it was able to do a lot faster work without less intervention. Importantly, the turret was also modular. It could be mounted on other chassis, such as the T-72, potentially even for export trials. Roughly 70 AuF1s were converted to AuF2 standards, extending operational life well into the 2000s. Small experimental changes included digital communications, improved turret drives, and even GPS-based fire corrections. These evolutions kept the platform relevant despite the rapid technological progress in global artillery design, particularly of that in the West. By blending proven mechanics with modern computer navigation, the vehicle family served as a bit of a bridge between the traditional Cold War self-propelled artillery guns and the more networked, precision-guided systems that define the 21st century of artillery warfare. When compared to contemporaries like the US M109 or the Soviet 2S3 Akatsiya, the AuF1 held its own. The M109 was lighter and more numerous, of course, but the French design offered faster firing and superior crew protection. Against the 2S3, the vehicle's autoloader and ergonomics gave it a clear edge in sustained engagements. Its service life of nearly 5 decades really, in my opinion, speaks volumes. The system represented France's commitment to maintaining an independent defense industry capable of producing, I would say, fairly world-class armored vehicles. Today, the Caesar 155mm wheeled howitzer has, of course, really taken over its role in French service. It's lighter, easier to deploy, and optimized for rapid global response, which is what France is trying to push for, particularly in Africa. But the AuF1's spirit lives on in its design philosophy. Many nations, including Saudi Arabia, still keep this vehicle in reserve, and a bit of a testament to its durability and robust engineering. By the 2020s, the most AuF1s have been retired, and they remain a respected fixture in museums and training ranges. France's shift to wheeled artillery like the Caesar, in my opinion, really reflects a modernization of priorities. We're not trying to set upon these standalone firing positions that I'm used to in fixed kind of field artillery. They're really looking at mobility, deployment and speed, and reduced maintenance. Tracked vehicles suck to repair, and the French caught wind of that, of course. If they didn't need to and they could put it on wheels, then why not? And yet, even with those advances, the AuF1's balance of armour and automation continues really to impress historians and gunners alike, myself. Several surviving units are maintained for ceremonial or testing purposes. Other units have been given and gifted to allies for countries to train with. The platform's design, lessons of modularity, crew safety and high rate of fire directly influenced later systems in Europe and beyond. In a sense, the vehicle really kind of marked the culmination of tracked self-propelled artillery before the rise of the lighter expeditionary era. Its engineering precision and battlefield endurance, I think, kind of secured it in some regard as a bit of a lasting place for artillery history, but that time has unfortunately come to an end, and it's sad to see these kind of heavy luggers starting being pushed to the side, but not quite. There's still a few of them still going, and I think tracked self-propelled artillery is here to stay for the future. The AMX-30 AuF1 stands as, in my opinion, one of the finest examples of Cold War artillery innovation, particularly for France, a weapon that successfully combined mobility, firepower and protection into a very powerful package produced within their own country. From the deserts of the Middle East to the mountains of the Balkans, it proved its worth time and time again. It has battle testing. Though now replaced by modern systems, I do feel that its legacy continues to inspire howitzers built for speed and safety and sustained fire that we're particularly seeing around the conflicts and wars that are going on of today. So folks, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the AMX-30 AuF1. If you enjoyed the video, of course, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment on which vehicle or system you would like to see next. If you have supported my channel both on Patreon or on PayPal, thank you so much. Your contributions and donations to my channel, which is just me, really help allow me to produce more content. So thank you so much for those of you who have been contributing, even in the super chats in the comments section. It means a lot to me. As always, folks, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next one. All the best. Bye-bye.